Hey guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful time and welcome to the final round of the UK and Ireland Radical Championship. We're in qualifying, right in the thick of qualifying. We've had a 1 hour session and there's 25 minutes remaining as we watch James Child make his way down into the long sweeping right-hander. That is off the Flantgarten. Down. Actually, that might have been through Galgenkopf, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, makes his way up the hill, a little dab onto the brakes. And now I think this is into the second of the carousels, is it? I always forget this is circuit. Let's ride on board then with James Child. Into the double left-hander. This is the Metzgesfeld, if I recall correctly. And now on to the brakes down into Kallenhard. Now into the right hand, that'll bring you down into the very tight left-hander of Verseifen. Down the gears, long left-hander. Before getting back on the power through the right-hander. Now up towards the left-hander. That then leads into the right-hander of X-Muller. Careful not to carry too much speed. You need to pull the car back over to the left. Here we go into X-Muller. Very easy to lose the rear end. Now back on the power. Left kink coming up before you make your way into Bergwerk. Jump onto the brakes. Look to get a nice late apex. Get on the power as early as you dare. Now into the fast left-hander of the Kesselchen. James Child currently sitting at 4th in the standings with a 6:21.678. Currently 6 seconds down on the lap time set by John McCutcheon. Fast left-hander coming up. Completely flat by James Child. Now get ready to jump onto the brakes for the right hairpin. Down into second gear. Back onto the power. And now the carousel coming up. Does he use the banking? Of course he does. Back end actually stepping out momentarily as James Child jumping onto the brakes. Now make your way up the hill towards the highest point of the entire circuit, the Hohe Acht. Here you go. And now it's going to be the descent down through the forest. Right, left, and then back onto the brakes for the Vipperman. Actually, there we go. Back on the power and now down towards Brunchen. Nice and tidy. Through the double right-hander. And now ice curve up ahead. And now it's just making your way down through the Flantgarten, or the Flantgarten. John McCutcheon currently 4/10 clear of Simon Edwards. Fast right-hander, one downshift back onto the power. Slow it down through the left because you've got the second of the carousels coming up. The small carousel. could be endearingly referred to. Galgenkopf coming up. Get it slowed down. And now make your way on to the Dottingenhohe. Just pedal to the metal all the way down the Dottingenhohe as you make your way towards the Tiergarten. By the way, a warm welcome to all of our viewers. Hope you're having a good time as James Charles jumps onto the brakes. And now a right-hander to stop yourself going on to the main track and down into the Hatzenbach to complete a lap. 6:21.1 last time around from James Child. Is new personal best, but not enough to see him jump any higher up the order. 2.6 seconds down on Martin Booker. How's Dominic Langweb doing? You can definitely see the difference between James Child and Langweb. Langweb having far less commitment through these corners. So he makes his way into the sweeping long left-hander. I think he's making his way down into the Adener first. Maybe that was Meskesfeld, not quite sure. Oh, the back end really stepping out. Back onto the brakes. I'm pretty sure this is the Fansgarten that we're making our way through. Fast right-hander. Yeah, and we're making our way now into the Kleines Carousel. This is the corner just before. There you can already see the rank or the banking. Back end really steps out on you when you just get a little bit too eager on the power on the exit of the Kleines Carousel. Dominic Langweb yet to set a lap time with 19 minutes remaining in the session. Now the Dottingenhohe. Just hope that your engine doesn't blow out. Just keep pushing all the way down. So you make your way into the Tiergarten. And on to the brakes. Final corner now. And this is where the lap will be timed. 6:26.3 for Dominic Langweb, P7 for him. Let's see John McCutchinson. Look how much speed he's carrying through the car as he slows it right on down into the Adener first. Back on the power, now towards Meskesfeld. Double left-hander that reminds you somewhat of Imola, actually. Every time I see a car making its way through here, for a second I think, oh, we're in Imola. And then I realise, no, we're at the Nurburgring, and that is the Metzgersfeld up in towards Kallenhardt. Get it slowed down, second gear back on the power, fighting with the wheel is McCutchinson. I'll start to descend down the hill somewhat into Versheifen. Been fast so far from McCutchinson, at least from what we've seen. Up into Exmuller. through the Kesselchen. Down into the carousel. You can really see how on edge the car is. Making our way through the left-hander. Slow it back down through Brunchen. Now ice curve up next. Now make your way down the hill towards the Flandgarten. Back on the power and down into the Kleines Carousel. Look at how much speed and commitment McCutcheon is carrying through the Galgenkopf. Beautifully done. Through the Tiergarten. And now jump onto the brakes as we make our way into the final sequence of corners. John McCutcheon, 6:15.1, improves his lap by 0.4 of a second. What's Simon Edwards up to? Think. Is that the Kallenhardt that he's just made his way through? No, that was the Bergwerk. This is the Kesselchen now. Simon Edwards. Yeah, indeed it is. Left-hander will be coming up in a bit before the right hairpin and then down into the left hairpin of the carousel. There you go, fast left-hander. Little right kink. Drop down a gear, just give himself a little bit more power. And then jump on the brakes. To the first of the two hairpins. Keep the car somewhat in the center of the track, so that you're lined up nicely for this carousel. Or back end steps out, that'll cost Simon Edwards a couple of tenths at the very least. To get a perfect lap here at the Nordschleife is pretty much impossible. to Grunchen. Sorry, that's the left-hander. Now into the double right-handers. Now ice curve. And down towards the Flandgarten. Carries a little bit less speed. Simon Edwards, definitely more on the plate. Now up towards the Kleines Carousel. And let's see if Simon Edwards can take the Galgenkopf with as much commitment as John McCutcheon did just a few minutes ago. I think the answer is yes. Absolute balls from Simon Edwards. Flat out on the Dottingenhoer. Through the Tiergarten. And now into the final complex. .616.0, the best lap for Simon Edwards. And it's a 621.8, not something he's going to be happy with. Might as well just take this opportunity to remind everyone as to how the championship standings are currently looking. John McCutcheon leads by 7 points over Simon Edwards, but with the UK and Ireland Radical Championship, there are 2 drop rounds that will come into play. And I think John McCutcheon, in one of his races, finished down in like P11, P12, which, as you can see, is 20 points as opposed to 40. I think both drivers maybe missed the round as well, so we're not quite sure how this will all play out after 2 drop rounds do come into effect. But it could definitely make for some entertaining action. And I think Simon Edwards has to beat John McCutcheon here if he wants any chance of winning the championship. And the way things are currently looking, this is a John McCutcheon, Simon Edwards show. The pair of them separated by less than a second. And then you've got to go to Martin Booker in P3. Well, down 2.5 seconds. That being said, we do still have some feisty battles going on for the likes of P3 in the championship, from Patrick Charlton all the way down, well, really all the way down to Andrew Hugill, depending on how the drop rounds come into play. But in reality, Patrick Charlton all the way down to Paul Clark, less than 30 points between the pair of them. And I know Paul Clark has missed a race or so, which would be 30 points pretty much out of the piggy bank for him. But McCutcheon, Simon Edwards, that's a battle to really keep your eyes out for. And look who has joined us. Dan Webster is in the lobby, and he could definitely affect this battle between McCutcheon and Simon Edwards. Dan Webster, maybe the quickest driver here, completely. He beat McCutcheon last time out, or last time the pair of them were on the track together. Dan Webster completes his outlap and locks up into turn 1. This is going to be the only lap Dan Webster can set. And you can already see the pressure on with that lockup. through the Hokkaiken. Oh, pardon me. Now I think we're into the Hokkaiken. Back onto the power as you make your way up towards Flugplatz. This is a corner that needs commitment over the bridge. And here we go, Flugplatz over the crest. Completely flat from Webster. Now through the Cottonburn. Up the hill towards the hairpin of Arenberg. First, got to drop it down a gear through the left-hander. No, completely flat. Never mind, Dan Webster with the commitment. Down into Arenberg. Hold it tight, back on the power. Use up the curb, just like you would on the exit of the Degners. Through the Fush spawn. And towards the Adenauer first. Drop down the gear, slow it right down this left-hander. Much slower than it originally appears. There you can see Dan Webster fighting with the rear end that desperately tries to step out on him. And now, a bit of breathing time as you make your way to the Metzgersfeld. That's a double left-hander. The first, now the second, dropping it down into second gear. Back on the power, clips the curb, unsettles the car. Back on the power, up towards the Kallenhardt. Again, hold it tight. Bit of understeer there for Webster. Loses out on a bit of time. Missed shift as well. Into this long, sweeping right-hander. Through the right kink. And down into the Vershyfen. Down the hill. Right kink into slow left. Down into third gear. Back on the power. Up the crest and into the X-Muller. Left kink coming up completely flat before the Bergwerk. Keeping an eye on McCutchinson has already headed into the pit. 6:15.1 will be his final time. 6:16.0 for Simon Edwards. We'll see whether he can improve on that. Webster makes his way into the Kesselchen. It's been a scrappy lap from Webster. You can tell he's been pushing with absolutely everything he's got. But whether it's fast or not, we will see in just a couple of minutes' time. Flat through the left-hander then. As you make your way through the right kink and into the right hairpin. Still flat. And now jump on the brakes. Get it right down into second gear. Back on the power as early as you dare. Now the carousel coming up next. Corner that'll always put a bit of a smile on your face. Not when you're coming off it. It'll be a bit of a brown underwear moment as the back end steps out. As the back end usually wants to step out right when you go over the crest of it. Through the double left-hander then. And now up towards the highest point of the circuit, the Hohe Acht. Back on the power from third gear. Into the right, then left. Downshift into fourth gear, back on the power through the right. Use up all the curb. And up through Wipperman, or Wipperman I should say. Slow it down through the left-hander, third gear. Through Brunchen. Drop it down into third for the second of the two right-handers. Back on the power, pull the car over to the right as you make your way down towards the ice curve. Again, the front end wanting to step out, the understeer is visible. Down the hill and into the Pflanzengarten section. Clipping the curb. Again, the curb's always so scary to ride on. Raised curbs unsettle the car, especially in these radicals. Flat through the right. And now prepare yourself for the final right-hander before you make your way up towards the Kleines Carousel. Downshift into fifth, back on the power. Downshift into third for the first of the two left-handers. Back on the power. Now slap on the brakes into the Kleines Carousel. on the power as early as he can. Now Galgenkopf, the last real corner for quite a while. Not quite as much commitment as we saw from Simon Edwards and John McCutchinson previously. They almost took that corner flat. Such was their commitment. The nerves that they were able to show as we make our way onto the Dottingenhohe. And now it's just a chance to breathe before you make your way into the Tiergarten. You can see that right up ahead at the top of the hill. Dan Webster, this is looking like a 6.17, maybe a 6.18. He might find himself qualifying below Martin Booker in P3. Here we go then, through the Tiergarten, as you make your way under the bridge. And the final sequence of corners remains. Onto the brakes. A bit early on the brakes for Dan Webster, at least compared to what we saw from Simon Edwards earlier. Into the final corner. What will the lap be for Webster? 6.21.0. P5. 2/10 shy of what James Child was able to do. Only 10 seconds remaining. Simon Edwards, 6.16.059. Not able to, well, he improved by 0.03 of a second, but that is all. Is anyone coming to a close? I guess some drivers do have the chance to complete their laps, it would seem. But I would imagine we're getting put into the race session momentarily. As we currently ride on board with Ray Peasley, and I believe he's making his way through the Cottonburn right now. I might be wrong on that. Yeah, he is, and here we go, Arenberg. Through the push spawn. Okay, let's just see where Jamie Bird is. Well, he's just made his way through the first of the carousels, slightly further up the road compared to Mr. Ray Peasley. Simon Mortby, he's on a lap as well. Current best 6:30.9. Jamie Bird makes his way through the Hohe Acht. Runs a little bit wide, and I think he's going to back out of this lap. Yeah, clearly not happy with that mistake. Ray Peasley, Richard Brown, the only two drivers left on circuit. And Simon Mortby as well, who has just had a bit of an off, so I don't think he's going to be able to improve. Ray Peasley then. Through the long right-hander. I think that's Colin Hudd. Actually, no, that's Versifen, I think. We just made our way through. And now X-Mulder coming up. Still getting used to this track. Not a track that I've ever completed a lap of. Oh, catches the rear end. Back end snaps. And that is going to be the lap done and dusted for Ray Peasley. Whereabouts is Rich? There we go. At least I've got you guys something that you can look at for a second as iRacing is desperately trying to open. And now I have no idea because ATV ATVO doesn't want to open. Okay, we are apparently into the race. There's 2 minutes remaining of qualifying. Cool, so we still have some time to go before everything goes terribly wrong. Hopefully ATVO opens, because if it does not, then we will be in some trouble. And at the moment, it looks like it doesn't want to open, which is not very good, I have to say. Sadly, it doesn't look like ATVO will open, and I don't know why, because I've just restarted the PC. Hopefully ATVO opens up now. No. Okay. This is a slight issue. Right, 5 seconds remaining before we can jump on into qualifying, or before we can jump on into the race. Apologies for how this is all looking. Yes, drivers are starting to make their way onto the circuit. As we get ready to get underway, John McCutcheon starting at the front of the grid. And we are underway. John McCutcheon actually gets a great start as he makes his way down into turn 1. Meanwhile, behind that, Simon Edwards losing out. I'm not quite sure who he has lost out to, but he has dropped down a position nonetheless. So that's Martin Booker, who's dropped down into... Martin Booker's moved up to P2. Simon Edwards down into P3, and that is Dan Webster hot on his heels as they make their way down into the first sequence of real corners. And Dan Webster is going to want to get a move on as quickly as he can, otherwise he's going to be losing out on a whole bunch of time. Here we go then, riding on board with Dan Webster. To make our way through pardon me. I think that was Arenberg that we just made our way through. And now up through Fuchshorn. Dan Webster on the back of the 72 of Martin Booker. Oh, that's a P2 running a little bit wide as they make their way down into the Adenauer Forst. You can see John McCutcheon really starting to pull away. We make our way into Metzgersfeld. These positions will change massively, probably through the Kesselchen. That is the first real straight. You see 72 of of Martin Booker running a little bit wide. He's leading this trail of cars. Jamie Bird, he's dropped down fairly far. That's Dominic Lang-Webb up ahead, actually. But meanwhile, back with Dan Webster. Goes through Verseifen. And now we can make our way into the left-hander before Exmuller. And look at that. John McCutcheon has pulled so far away. Slow it down into the long right-hander. That's Bergwerk. Make your way then through Kesselchen. No huge slipstream right now for Dan Webster. Might be a bit of a slipstream. As you can see, Simon Edwards and Martin Booker battling for position down the inside. It goes Simon Edwards. And now Dan Webster will look to try to follow through. Dan Webster on the outside into the right-hander. Dan Webster gets the job done. Dan Webster up to P3. And it is the 72 of Martin Booker dropping down to P4. Dan Webster starting this race down in P5. Simon Edwards up to P2. He can now try to hunt down John McCutcheon. Remember, Simon Edwards sitting second in the championship right now, just about 10 points behind McCutcheon. And there are drop rounds in effect. So Simon Edwards can get ahead of the Hutch. Maybe, just maybe, he'll have a chance of taking a win here. So I'm just going to check something. I was just trying to see if there was a way that I could get it to update more often. Okay. Either way, that's Lang-Webb going completely wide, and now Jamie Bird will be able to find his way through. Tell you what, Simon Edwards is starting to get a bit of a move on here. Dan Webster makes his way through the Flansgarten. Now into the second carousel, the Kleinest carousel for Webster. Onto the Dottingenhoer. See Dan Webster moving over to the right as up ahead Simon Edwards. closes in on McCutchinson. John McCutchinson has almost pulled out of that tow range. Down the brakes they go into the final sequence of corners. Through the final corner now. Oh, back end stepping out for Webster. Just about keeps it in check. Down into the Hudson-Bach. Chris Kane right on the back of Simon Maltby. You can see Simon Maltby's rear wing somewhat damaged. Oh, back end. Chris Kane keeps it in check. Richard Brown a little bit further behind. Just want to see Martin Booker. He's right on the back of Dan Webster. Not letting Dan Webster pull away from him. In fact, they're closing him right down. And now he's going to have a go as they make their way through the cotton burn. And Martin Booker gets the job done. Dan Webster drops back down to P4. Down the hill we go. And now down into the Adenauer first. Forced slow it right down for this left-hander. Through Metzgersfeld. Remember, Dan Webster had a lot less practice coming into this race than those ahead of him. Was only able to do one lap in qualifying. And that always hurts. Oh, that's an incident up ahead, surely. Huge, huge puffs of smoke. But no, just seemed to be a double lockup for someone. Not quite sure who. Can't really see McCutchinson. I think he's a bit too far ahead. Can only see Simon Edwards. Martin Booker right in front of Dan Webster. There's Simon Edwards, and we could just see John McCutchinson momentarily. So I'm not sure that was someone off the track. Is that Dominic Lang-Webb? I think it might have been. Andrew Hugel having just been passed by Jamie Bird. Through the left-hander. So I believe we're making our way through Kesselchen. Carry as much speed as you dare through the left-hander, right kink, and then down into the right hairpin before the carousel. Keep it tight. Dan Webster's actually just got past Martin Booker. Let's go back a bit and see where Dan Webster got the move done. So it's out of Nurburgring and into the Kesselchen. He gets the move done. Beautifully done then by Dan Webster. Can't do it much cleaner than that. Martin Booker now behind. Dan Webster, I think, starting to get a bit of a feel for the circuit. But is it a little bit too late? Simon Edwards is so much further up the road. He's making his way into Ice Curve now. Meanwhile, Dan Webster only now has just gone through ice curve. Can he see them up ahead? Okay, he can. As long as he gets a little peek of them from time to time, maybe he's got a chance. Jamie Bird. Dominic. Okay, pardon me. Where's Andrew Hugel? Andrew Hugel is on the back of James Child. No, that is Jamie Bird. That is Jamie Bird who's found a way through on Andrew Hugel, I believe. But we might just see Andrew Hugel come back at Jamie as they make their way through the Flandskarten. Now into the Kleines Carousel. Oh, that's a little bit wide from Jamie Bird, and Andrew Hugel's going to have a run. He's looking for the outside down into the Galgenkopf. Surely not. No, he puts the wheel onto the grass, loses the back end, holds it, and he's into the wall. You cannot look to go around the outside there, especially if you're going to back out that early. Simon Mortby's a little bit too far back to capitalise on that. Actually, Simon Mortby might get the run. I think he's just too far back to really get a slipstream here. But look at Martin Booker. He's right on the back of Webster. Make their way into the final sequence of corners. So right down final corner. Again, Dan Webster with that rear ender through the right-hander into turn one. James Child further 12 seconds behind. Andrew Hugel, you can see his steering completely broken. Jamie Bird up into 6th. Simon Mortby into the final corner now. The entire field starting to spread out as Richard Brown has Darrell Taylor right in front of him. And then Chris Kane a little bit further up from Darrell. We head through Hatzenbach. And now into the Hokkaiken, as that is Chris Kane who's run wide. And Chris Kane will drop down into P10. How's Martin Booker doing? He's still right on the back of Dan Webster. Simon Edwards, I think he's starting to close in McCutchinson. Remember, that is a battle for the championship up at the front. I don't know though if Simon Edwards beating McCutchinson will be enough for him to clinch the title. 2 drop rounds. Essentially why we are somewhat unsure. To the long sweeping left-hander, back down on the brakes. See how much Dan Webster closed in. Oh, pardon me, how much Martin Booker closed in onto Dan Webster. Under braking through the Kallenhard, down into Metzgersfeld. Sorry, Versheifen. Just keeping an eye on all the drivers to make sure we don't miss anything. Darrell Taylor's made a mistake somewhere down the line, I think. Richard Brown just behind Darrell. Dave Dowson managed to get back out on track. Same for Phil Glover. Through the right now. This is lap 3 of the race. Martin Booker dropping back a little bit from Webster. To make their way through the Flansgarten. Just in the corner of a shot for a brief second. You can see Dan Webster into the Kleines Carousel. See Joe McCutchinson trying to break the slipstream somewhat. To make their way down into the Tiergarten. So you can see all of the cars in the background. Dan Webster. I think James Child is almost in that shot as well. Yeah, I think he is. Dan Webster, Martin Booker easily in your shot. As actually, speaking of Martin Booker, how close is he to Dan Webster? Not quite close enough to look for a move. Maybe further down the order with Richard Brown, Darrell Taylor. Okay, that's Darrell Taylor. And I think he's got Chris Kane. No. Is that Simon Maltby in front of him? Yes, it is. Simon Maltby with Darrell Taylor hot on his heels. And there's Darrell Taylor close enough to have a look down into the Tiergarten. Darrell Taylor looks to the outside. Simon Maltby will have to go defensive. And I think the move is done for Darrell Taylor. And indeed it is. A little bit of damage to that rear spoiler of Simon Maltby. Hopefully it's not costing him too much time. There you go. Simon Maltby drops the position. Darrell Taylor up into P7. Darrell Taylor, 16 seconds down on Jamie Bird. Richard Brown as Andrew Hugel not too far behind him. And Chris Kane with a whole bunch of damage to the car. Actually, let's just see if we can find out where exactly that happened to Chris Kane. Did he just lose it? I'm going to guess Flugplatz, because that is a corner, one of the easiest corners for drivers to really lose the car. Well, that was one mistake, but that isn't. So where? He's already got damage to the car. Okay, still damage to the car through that. Going quite far back on the lap. Which, again, could suggest maybe it was Flugplatz. No, that car is still massively damaged. Where has Chris Kane lost it? Let's ride on board. Yep, it's Flugplatz. Called it. It's always Flugplatz. It catches out the best of drivers. He's making his way to the pits now. And where has John McCutcheon lost the lead? Was it a mistake from McCutcheon? Though there's damage on the car. John McCutcheon has binned it somewhere. Was this also a Flugplatz incident? Flugplatz, the previous corner? Okay, so no, it wasn't Flugplatz. That is a chunk of damage on McCutcheon's car. Okay. Oh, he did it right at the end of the lap. And that's Simon Edwards just flying past. Well, dearie, dearie me. It's not going well for McCutcheon then, is it? Few incidents coming through. Flugplatz for Chris Kane. And the final couple of corners for John McCutcheon. And where is McCutcheon now? He's going to be falling into the hands of James Child if he's not careful soon. Let's just see where McCutcheon is. McCutcheon through the carousel. James Child just behind him. Just over, well, 1.5 laps remaining of this race. And Simon Edwards is going to take the win. John McCutcheon is not even going to get a top 3. In fact, I don't even think he's going to get a top 4. And this may very well mean that Simon Edwards will be your UK and Ireland Radical Champion. I'm not quite sure what the point situation is between the two of them. If someone knows in the chat, please do let me know. But I think Simon Edwards might win the championship as things stand. Or at least when we see John McCutcheon losing another couple of positions. Either way, drama in the final race of the championship, the final round of the championship. Probably the more appropriate expression. We've seen a lot of people picking up damage at John McCutcheon has sadly found himself on the wrong end of the Armco barrier. Now, where is James Child? Not too far behind. So the question is, how much time is McCutcheon losing? Well, with that car, he must be losing a whole bunch of time. Look at the damage on the left-hand side. How he is keeping this on the track, I do not know. This is great driving from McCutcheon. He's not just nursing the car home, he is putting in laps. And you can see up ahead, that is Martin Booker. And McCutcheon has not lost too much time to Martin Booker. James Child, a little bit further back. Let's ride on board with a Child. And there you can see up ahead, John McCutcheon, 1 lap remaining. Somehow, the Hutch has to defend for 1 lap, and it could potentially be the lap that determines his championship as well. The gap is not big between these two. And we'll see exactly what McCutcheon's last lap was. It's a 6:19 for Simon Edwards, 6:17 for Webster Booker. James Child, a 6:22.0. That can't be right. That has to be an error in something updating. Because apparently, James Child has fallen back from McCutcheon, but you can visibly see that that is not the case. We make our way into the Hocheiken, or pardon me, into Flugplatz. No mistakes from either of them, but look at how much closer James Child is. I think he's got this. I think James Child has P4 here. He's right on the back now as we're making our way into Arenberg. McCutcheon has to go so early on the brakes, and sweeping around his outside goes James Child. McCutcheon tries so hard to fight it, but he just does not have the grip. He does not have, well, the car. It's completely battered. It's completely knackered. John McCutcheon is still on the back of James Child. Can he make something happen? Because McCutcheon pretty much needs a miracle if he wants to find a way through James Child. It's through the right hand, through the left-handers that he seems to be really struggling. So we make our way through Metzgersfeld. Now down, I think, into Verseifen. So that's through the left hairpin, and now up into Exmuller. McCutcheon's not too far back. He puts a wheel on the grass. McCutcheon is driving for his life right now. Up towards the Bergwerk. Let's just take a look up at the front. Simon Edwards, nice and clean. Dan Webster. Martin Booker behind. And then John McCutcheon trailing on James Child. Do we have any other potential battles going on? I think everyone's just too far away from each other. Unless Phil Glover is closing in on Dave Dowson. No, Dowson's made a mistake. Dowson's dropped down to P13. Chris Kane's in the pits. He's not coming out anytime soon. Neither's Andrew Hugel. I think Richard Brown just lost the rear end. No, he didn't. He's kept it. Jamie Bird too far back to really capitalise on this. James Child, McCutcheon struggling. Through the right hairpin, and now up towards the carousel. John McCutcheon, all you have to do now, son, is just not make any mistakes. Just bring it home. You're not going to find a way through on James Child. It's an unfortunate one for McCutcheon, who's led from, well, the start of the race up until that mistake, really. Simon Edwards applied the pressure, and McCutcheon has caved into it. Again, minor mistake, just carrying a little bit too much speed into the final chicane. And he's done a magnificent job as McCutcheon of trying to bring it home as he makes his way through the double right-handers. And now up towards the ice curve. Before making his way down into the Fansgarten. I think it's still enough for McCutcheon to take the championship. I think he would have needed to finish down in P7 or P8. We'll wait to see confirmation of it. But either way, Simon Edwards is making his way through the Galgenkopf and on to the Dottingenhohe. All that remains is the final sequence of corners. That sequence of corners that actually caught out McCutcheon himself. Martin Booker too far back on Dan Webster to do anything here. But Simon Edwards will take what I think is his 4th win of the season here at the Nordschleife. Oh, who's that? Who's spun in the background? Is that Martin Booker? No. James Child. Who was that who had spun? I definitely saw a stricken car, but it's none of the top 4. It won't make any effect to the championship. Simon Edwards rounds the final corner to win at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Dan Webster will come home in second after very little practice, and Martin Booker will take P3. James Child a little bit further back in P4. John McCutcheon will have to nurse his car back in P5. But James Child's car is nice and clean, nice and spotless. John McCutcheon into the final corner to take P5. And Jamie Bird a further 10 seconds back, really. One more lap. Jamie Bird, I think, would have actually got McCutcheon. He was 9 seconds behind at the end. What about Darrell Taylor? Well, Darrell Taylor will come home in P7. Eat bananas. Well, I'm sure he's got a few bananas waiting for him at home. Maybe he can eat them to celebrate. Well, it's been a fine 7th position for him. Richard Brown a bit further back in P8. Simon Mortby down in P9. Simon Mortby, yeah, Simon Mortby's a bit further back. Richard Brown then takes P8. Over a minute down. Simon Mortby on the other end of the Dottingham Hoa. Patrick Charlton. Patrick Charlton comes home in P9. Good stuff, Patrick. Here's Simon Mortby then to claim his 10th place finish. Through the Tiergarten. Slow it down into the final sequence of corners. He's got no pressure. Andrew Hugel a further 4 minutes back. Simon Mortby takes P10. A lonely P10 for Simon. Andrew Hugel much further back down the field. What about Phil Glover and Chris Kane? Chris Kane still in the pits. Phil Glover will be the last man to cross the line. So Andrew Hugel makes his way into the carousel. Phil Glover is on the other side of the track, really. Or maybe other side of the track is a little bit too harsh. He's making his way down into Arenberg now, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Kallenhard? I'm not quite sure. Ah, it was Bergwerk. Now he's into the Kesselchen. Meanwhile, Andrew Hugel is making his way down towards Wipperman. I think that's a Wipperman that he's just gone through. Down the hill into the left-hander before making a way into the double rights of Brunchen. Well, I'm seeing Simon in the chat saying, have you told Milky to hold on? Well, now I've seen that, so I will make sure to hold on. I'm guessing some of the drivers are potentially waiting for me, but we're going to let this race draw to a close first. So Andrew Hugel having a bit of a moment as he makes his way down the Fansgarten. Now towards the Kleines Carousel. Down towards Galgenkopf. Now it's a long wait on the Dottingham Hoa. How's Phil Glover doing? Phil Glover making his way down towards the ice curve. Scott about a minute behind Andrew Hugel is Phil Glover. Andrew Hugel then. Through the final couple of corners. He rounds the final corner to come home in P11. Five minutes down on Simon Edwards. Phil Glover's just made his way through the Kleines Carousel. He will take a lonely P12. Actually, Chris Kane's still in the pits. And as a result, I think he ends up a lap down. Not quite sure. No, I think he'll finish just under a lap down on everyone, as he has crossed the finish line, I do believe. He's crossed the finish line in the pits, but was unable to complete his final lap. Phil Glover into the Tiergarten. And there we go, Phil Glover comes home to take P12. Brings the car to a stop. And there you go. Race draws to a close. Strong result. Then for Simon Edwards. Good stuff from him to be able to secure the win. Now, I know Chris Kane said that we aren't doing any interviews tonight, so I guess on that note, that is everything. I will just try to get confirmation of who won the championship. Just so that I can relay it to all of you wonderful viewers. That was the fourth win of the season for Simon Edwards. McCutcheon had 5. Arguably should have had 6 if it wasn't for, I think it was the mayhem back at Road America, which Simon Edwards took advantage of very well. But I'm not quite sure. Okay, no one is giving an answer, it seems, as to who has won the season. I think McCutcheon has won this, to be honest. Yeah, I'm pretty sure John McCutcheon has won. But take it with a pinch of salt. Make sure to stay tuned with the UK and Ireland Radical Racing website. The link for that is down in the YouTube description. And yeah, use that. Take a look who won the championship. If you do want to get involved in the UK and Ireland Radical Championship, I'm guessing they'll be taking on entries for Season 2 shortly. So again, stay tuned for that on the website. You can join the Discord server or just keep an eye out on the iRacing League site as well. You can apply to that under the UK and Ireland Radical or UK and Ireland Radical Race Series. But for myself, that is all from today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Apologies for the issues. I think when the race session started, it just blew up the PC for some reason, and then ATVO didn't work. But thankfully, we managed to catch most of the battles. But from myself and from the UK and Ireland Race Series, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks again to our partners over at Hi-Fi Lounge and HPE Automotive, who have helped to bring this series to you. But for myself, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll be back for next season. So thank you guys, and see you next time.